Good day, everyone. I am Jumashil Moreno and I am your teacher for today. Welcome to Introduction to Philosophy of the Human Person. And in this 8 minutes discussion, the learners must distinguish a holistic perspective from a partial point of view, recognize human activities that emanated from deliberate reflection, and realize the value of doing philosophy in obtaining a broad perspective on life. And by this, you will deepen your understanding on the worth of human philosophical approaches. One amongst the key elements in many education reforms is diversity, difference, and selection, or other proposals that establish separate curricular routes for various groups of people. Diversity is the difference that produces every person uniquely. The word philosophy springs from the Greek words philia, which means love, and sophia, which means wisdom. Therefore, the word philosophy is the love of wisdom. Pythagoras was said to have been the primary man to call himself a philosopher. It is said that when Leon, the tyrant of Philus, asked him of who he was, he said, "A philosopher," and he likened the philosopher to spectators at ancient games. Pythagoras was shorter. He coined the word philosopher, which he defined collectively, who is attempting to search out. In keeping with him, men and ladies of globe can classified into three groups: those who love pleasure, those who love activity, those who love wisdom. There are four things that we need to consider in studying philosophy. But before that, let me tell you that philosophy is defined because the science that by natural light of reason studies the primary causes or highest principles of all things. The first thing that we need to consider is science. It's called science because the investigation is systematic. It follows specific steps or it employs certain procedures. Natural light of reasoning. Investigating things not by using the other laboratory instruments or investigative tools, neither on the idea of supernatural revelation. Cause of highest principle. A principle is that from which something proceeds any manner. The first principle is principle of identity. Whatever is, whatever isn't is not. Everything is what it is. Everything is its own being, and not being is not being. Next is principle of non-contradiction. It is impossible for a thing to be and to not be at the identical time and at identical respect. Principle of sufficient reason. Nothing exists without sufficient reason for its being and existence. Branches of philosophy. Metaphysics is an extension of a fundamental and necessary drive in every person to understand what is real. The question is a way to account for this unreal thing in terms of what you will be able to accept as real. Ethics explores the character of ethical virtue and evaluates human actions. Generally, it is the study of the character of ethical judgment, a way to tell good from evil or right from wrong. Ethics is the branch of philosophy that explores the character of ethical virtue and evaluates human activity. Epistemology. It deals with nature, source, limitation, and validity of information. Epistemological questions are basic to other philosophical inquiries. Epistemology explains about how do we all know what we claim to know? How will we determine what we wish to know? How will we differentiate truth from falsehood? Two parts in acquiring knowledge: in the action things are seen, heard, and touched, are more important, which the ideas are formed from the examination of particular fact. Philosophers who feel that knowledge is acquired during this way are called empiricists. Empiricism is the view that knowledge will be attained only through sense datum, deduction, general law, and steps with which particular facts are understood or judges. Rationalists, the real knowledge relies on the logic, the laws, and therefore the methods that reasons develop. Another branch of philosophy is logic, is taken into account as a tool and thus does not contribute unto the content of the thoughts. It is the validity of the arguments regarding such objects. The term logic comes from Greek word logic and was coined by Zeno, the Stoic. It means a treatise on matters regarding human thoughts. Aesthetics, establishing the factors of beauty. It's the science of the attractive in its various manifestations, including grandeur, comic, tragic, pathetic, and ugly. Importance of aesthetics vitalizes the knowledge to live more deeply and richly in keeping in tune with the culture. The Filipino philosophy. Loob, holistic and interior dimension. Kagandahang loob, kabutihang loob, and kalooban are terms that show sharing of the self to others. Filipino believes within the innate goodness of the person. Filipino as a non-public look themselves as holistic form within dimension under the principles of harmony. Filipino philosophy of sometime. The Filipino believes within the gulong ng palad or wheel of fortune and appears at life as a series of ups and downs. This makes the Filipino an unmitigated optimist. Bahala na came from the name of God, which is the Bathala. It literally means to travel away from everything to God, who is Bathala, within the vernacular. Bahala na philosophy puts complete trust within the divine providence. It contains the elements of resignation. Filipino thought and values, positive and negative aspect. Filipino believe in utang na loob, which is reciprocating debts of gratitude between coordinates and subordinates that holds the whole group together. Deep down within the Filipino psyche, there exists the thought that whatever good one has done will rebound to one's benefit. Philosophy transcending and aiming for a lifetime of abundance. Abundance, from a Latin word abundare, meaning to overflow non-stop. Abundance is outflowing than incoming. In line with the Aguilars' The Gift of Abundance, abundance was given a fresh spiritual, even Buddhist paradigm. Aguilar asserts that our very life belongs to God.